Welcome to the Sooner the Better podcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome, everyone, to episode 13 of the Sooner the Better podcast. Coming to you live early this week. This is a Friday. We usually record on Saturday mornings, but
Sunday.
It really depends.
It was Saturday.
Depends on if we're sleepy or not.
Yeah, we were just gonna go ahead and apologize for last week's episode. We were both absolutely. I don't know if you watched it back.
Yeah,
that was.
I kept sniffling the entire time. I had terrible allergies. I felt like I was about to die.
Absolutely inexcusable.
We were in a little bit of a stupor.
Yeah,
we were just eating a lot. But yeah, early this week. Weather's a little downcast right now. It's kind of depressing driving over here. But we're excited to be back post-spring game. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of news in the world of OU football.
No.
Because we're, in that transition point now where we're getting into summer ball. The rest of the freshman class isn't there yet. Doesn't graduate until next month. So there's not really going to be a whole lot going on.
Yeah, I think this is when everyone leaves to go do their internships or go work their summer jobs, or they go to training camps and stuff.
Or you're still bum.
Yeah, or just
sit
bum
around
out.
and be a bum.
I don't think Vinny's gonna let him bum out.
No, there's not.
Maybe doing something.
But yeah, summer ball. I feel like summer ball is going to be a bit more closed doors, because this is going to be when they start to work on what they're actually going to be looking at to translate into the next season. And they're going to be getting into some more intense workouts. So it's going to be very quiet, at least on the actual preparation front. We might see some stuff with recruiting in the transfer portal, but for the most part, this is always the part of the year that's the hardest, because it's you still got 3.5 months until you see any more ball, and you don't really know what's going on. So,
which means that we have to work twice as hard to find shit to talk about.
Yeah, but we'll find shit to talk about. I know
we might get a little abstract.
Yeah,
but it's fine. It's still gonna be good.
Yeah. I know lots of sports that we can talk about. Cool. But yeah, just some quick notes on the spring game, because I know last week, like we said, we had to cut short because we really weren't feeling it, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, so let's go right into the details. So it was the largest spring game in the country. I would be willing to bet one of the largest in the history of college football.
I would imagine. I don't think spring games were ever historically a really big thing that people showed out to. I think that's more of a recent endeavor.
It's always been seen as a big scrimmage, which it is. Right. It's literally a big scrimmage.
But I like the way we did ours, because it was almost like a game for a half. It felt like a game for a half.
Yeah.
And having all the people out there helped. I would probably, I don't know what the stats are on it, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it was the biggest spring game in the history of college football.
75,630. It was definitely the biggest in the country. The second closest was, I think, Georgia was 63,000.
I think it was 68.
68,000.
They came close. Georgia showed out. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
Which Georgia's a good you talk about model programs. They're up there.
Ohio State had a good showing out. I think Penn State had a good one.
Yeah, but no one likes Ohio State.
They had USC in the top 10, though. I'm sorry. I saw the pictures.
That's not 33,000 people.
Not 30,000 people. There wasn't 15,000 there. Those stands were bare. There was a little pyramid of people. And that was it.
They filled the two middle sections, but on it was kind of funny because they actually made them go deeper into the middle section, so that when they took their pictures, it looked like it was more filled up instead of doing the wings and the ends. But yeah, it wasn't 33,000 people. I'd say maybe somewhere 12. Around 14. Yeah, 12 to 14,000 range. But it doesn't matter. Let's not compare ourselves to USC. We're obviously better. Dylan Gabriel. So I had to explain this multiple times, but just because I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings or make people think that we're shitting on him too extremely hard.
Explain it on Twitter?
Yeah.
Oh,
which no one specifically said anything. I just felt like I had to defend what we said. But we might have been the littlest, teensiest bit hard on Dylan Gabriel, because I went back and I watched the full spring game and I watched him play. It looks a little bit different from the camera viewpoint than sitting in the stadium, but he didn't look as bad as we were making it seem. Right, the panic button should never have been out, but he did not look amazing. There's a lot of people saying he looked incredible, he looked intuitive, he looked he looked like there was still a lot.
That was the biggest one. He was like, you guys dropped the ball on Dylan Gabriel. You completely misread that. He was one step ahead of everyone else out there. I'm gonna call bullshit on that. I went and re-watched back the film today, and he made some good throws. He made a couple good throws, especially when the receivers were wide open. He made great throws.
The ones over the top to Braden Willis and Marvin Mims for the touchdown, and then the huge one at Theo-Wease.
Yeah,
were all really well placed balls,
but they were wide open.
Yes.
Anytime he made some bad reads, he made it, especially one of the interception that he threw where he was trying to throw the back shoulder pass to I think it was Farouk.
Was that when he threw the pick?
When he threw the pick,
yeah.
He never should have even thrown that ball. You would say, oh well, he was trying to. No, that was so perfectly covered. That ball should have never came out of his hands. And then a lot of his stats that they were boasting about were check down passes. And I know, like, you still got to make the throw, and obviously our backups like Evers and Bowman, like they've even fucked some of those up. They messed up some check down passes, but like to me, he was solid. He was good, but not great, not fantastic. Definitely not one step ahead of everyone else out on the field.
Yeah,
you don't throw. Did he throw one pick or two picks?
One pick, one touchdown. The touchdown to Marvin Mims, because the one to Theo-Wease that should have been a touchdown wasn't a touchdown. They had to run that one in at the 1 yard line. But I agree with you. He made some questionable reads, and this is the thing though. When I was watching him, he wasn't like. It didn't look like Caleb Williams or Spencer Rattler when the inexperience got the best of them. It was like they're like rushing the play, or because they're worried about the pressure. He was. You can tell he's looking at the whole field, like he sees everything and he's taking his time and he's being patient. But it's like if nothing's there, throw the ball out of bounds. Like there's no shame
to me
in saving the down.
To me, what it looked like was some of the throws that he made, especially the interception throw. That was a throw that would have been a completion against an AAC defense, right? Because that
an
AAC, the American Athletic Conference.
Oh, okay.
Where he played before it at UCF. That would have been a completion there because I don't feel like the cornerback would have been able to get his head around, get his body squared. You're not playing against those caliber of athletes anymore. Now you're playing against really, especially in our game, playing against really well coached, high caliber athletes. You can't force those throws in there.
Yeah, and I would say that's a testament to our secondary and our DBs or our cornerbacks especially. They did a really good job playing man to man. But yeah, it's just like it's going to get to a point where he's going to have to make throws like that, but he still has a lot of the time to get there. Yeah. And there was also like a good point that I heard is they're just having a whole pool party down there. But a good point that I heard is like obviously they're in like implementing the new tempo, and like
it was fast. It was so fast.
But their defense, like that defense, has been playing against that all year. Like that's what they've been preparing for. Like these Big 12 defenses aren't gonna.
That's true.
There's going to be an adjustment period in every single game that they play to that tempo, where our defense was just ready right off the bat, and it was like they knew it was coming. So definitely props to the secondary. Dylan Gabriel played a solid game. But it wasn't the game you would. It's like don't use that as. I just want don't use that as like your benchmark for him because he can play way better than that.
He can and he will.
Cody Jackson. I think he had like 2 catches in the spring game, but he's transferred out. He's the only.
Who?
Yeah. So.
Who?
Cody Jackson.
Who?
Wide receiver.
Who? Exactly. We don't care. Get the fuck out of here.
We don't care. Well, I mean, like.
No, I honestly am not very familiar with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I wasn't either until the spring game. I'll be completely honest with you. Apparently, like 4-star guy, like big name, but it's like he's been there for a full year, and it's like even names like even guys who are the same year as him, like Darby, and I think Farouk's the same year as him as well, because that was this is Farouk's sophomore year, I believe. Just look a lot better than he did. Yeah. So I mean, when you kind of realize where you are in the depth chart, and you feel like it's best for your college career to get more playing time, then like I respect his decision.
Yeah,
and it's not like he threw shade at OU. Like he gave his due diligence to the fan base and whatnot. But it's like he wants to play, so
yeah,
you gotta respect him for that. But it opens up a lot of transfer opportunities for us because now we have a scholarship available. So. I personally think Tawi Walker, because he's not on scholarship. Tawi Walker's a preferred walk-on.
He deserves it.
I personally think Tawi Walker, just alone, based on his spring game performance, should get that Scully. So,
yeah. Brent, if you're listening, make it happen.
Let's fucking do that thing, Brent.
Before he transfers out.
Before he transfers out, because you know what's going to happen. He's going to have a breakout fucking year, and then some school's going to be like, "Oh, we appreciate you so much more."
Yeah.
It's like, well, then why didn't you take him out of JUCO? But anyway, yeah, and then Marcus Stripling, I just wanted to shout him out because after going back, he's by far my MVP of the entire game.
Yeah, he had a solid game, super solid game.
If he plays like that all year long, he's poised to be one of the top edge rushers, not just in the Big 12, but in the country. Like, he looks so good. And obviously, edge rushers are a commodity now in the NFL, so in super high demand, really important position. But anyway, that will fully now conclude any and all talk of the spring game. It is now in the past. Not too worried about it. We're going to get a shit ton better in summer ball. Summer ball is way more rigorous.
Get bigger,
than spring
stronger,
football.
faster,
longer.
Faster, stronger.
Little Kanye. But yeah, be excited. Be fucking proud to be a Sooner fan.
That was,
I don't know what the fuck that was.
I couldn't contain my excitement. It just oozed out.
The team did that motherfucking thing. The coaching staff did that motherfucking thing. The fan base did that motherfucking thing. So, be proud. Moving on to new business. As always, new business segment. I just wanted to start by talking about Lincoln Riley issued what I would consider to be a memorandum. Or not a memorandum.
That's when someone dies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. Is it?
Memoriam. Well, that's in memoriam. Is that what they do with the Oscars? When all the people die and they just like show their face.
I don't know. He issued a statement.
Okay,
Let's leave it at that. He issued a statement on paper. It was like typed out. It was well thought out. I say well thought out. Memo. Yeah. Let's go with memo. He issued a memo. It was typed out. It seemed to be well thought out, as most lies are. Usually, if you're going to lie to millions of people's faces, you're going to think it over quite a bit. But he basically said, to just sum up what he said, he essentially said, OU is my home, blah blah blah. I wasn't talking to USC. My representation was. And it's like, do you realize what the word representation means? Like, it's people acting on your behalf.
Yeah,
for an extension
the
of you.
Contractual, agent-agency relationship. They are an extension of who you are.
Yeah, but nobody cares about all that jazz. He basically said, just because I was talking to USC back in September doesn't mean that I wasn't at home at OU. But it's obvious, like, dude.
Bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit.
Your offense looked like crap.
Like, your priorities were elsewhere. But then he tried to make it seem like it was this, even though he'd been talking to USC since September, it was this big surprise that they actually showed interest in hiring him as the new head coach, which is also bullshit, because it's like when your representation is talking to them, you kind of expect to be in the running for that job. And then basically it was just like, and then it was just a big blur, and I was on a plane to California. And it's like, did someone fucking roofie you?
After I got my ass stomped. Unless you did.
Someone drugged him, forged his signature and made him accept the job, and then it was just a big blur, and he woke up in California.
And OSU both date raped him, and then they...
Yeah, so...
Then he ended up on a plane. Am I in California where no one plays defense?
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge that. Now, he did say that he does wish, things had gone differently with the team meeting when he announced that he was leaving, and just the whole situation in general. But it's like, obviously, because now everybody's pissed off and knows exactly what you were doing 3 months before you left for California.
His entire reputation in Oklahoma is now, like, at the university, is tarnished.
So
what he would have had, what would have been a really impressive, even if he had left in a different way, he would have had what was a fairly impressive resume. But now that's just completely, like, there's not going to be any Lincoln Riley Memorial anything. You're not getting a street named after you. You're not getting a statue. You're not getting nothing. Yeah. You're a skid mark.
Yeah, and just know in my book, your apology is not accepted. So you better do well out there in California, because if not, your career's going to be in some serious jeopardy, I think. Yeah. But here's the thing. You talk about his resume, and you talk about, like, oh, you know, it's impressive and whatnot. Yeah, he's won some Big 12 championships, and he's made some playoffs. But if you really look at it from, like, a trend perspective, the team never got any better.
No.
Its best years were years that he either fully or partially inherited.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Like, he got, like Baker fell into his lap.
Yeah.
Kyler was already there as well and fell into his lap. Now, he did recruit Jalen Hurts out of the transfer portal, which was huge for 2019, but we also didn't win shit in 2019. Oh, we won the Big 12, but we got boot stomped by LSU because we weren't ready. And then every consecutive year we made the playoffs, we got beat worse and worse and worse. So, enjoy our sloppy seconds, USC. Hope you like them. Hope you enjoy them. On that same kind of topic, let's just talk about how LA is. I have no idea. I've been there, but I went there before. But I guess I went to the wrong part, because I mean I went to like central, like, you know, like coastal Los Angeles, where Santa Monica Pier is, and like downtown. Apparently there's like some part of LA that's like the greatest fucking thing that's ever happened to planet Earth, where it's just, if you're not there, you might as well not even exist, because apparently it's just the greatest city,
I mean, look,
to ever exist.
LA is cool. I like it fine. I would never want to live out there, mainly because it's stupid
the cost
expensive.
Of living is fucking
and
exorbitant.
There's just a million people, and traffic's horrible and stuff. But it is beautiful. I mean, you have spots.
Yeah, but there's lots of beautiful places.
Not necessarily. I wouldn't say necessarily in LA. I'd say probably outside of LA. You get to like maybe parts of Orange County, something like that. Then you're looking at some pretty, like, very pretty areas. Yeah. Stupid expensive, can't afford to live there. So
if you're not sure what we're talking about yet, obviously USC's main defense for not having as
their lackluster
busy of a spring game,
which you would think because they finished number 10, supposedly on the list.
Right. After fudging the numbers,
if you finish number 10, you have no reason to defend anything. You don't have to defend.
Well, it was mostly
we finished top 10. We're not even a top 10 program right now. Why do we have to defend it? But if you fudge the numbers a little bit, then you go, maybe we sold 30,000 tickets, but maybe 15,000 of those were to donors that had also bought other tickets, and they just bought 2 tickets.
Yeah, I think they might have sold.
Everyone else went to the beach.
They might have sold 33,000 tickets. There were not 33,000 people there. But if you don't know what we're talking about yet. Oh shit! I already said that. I just completely lost my train of thought.
Let's cut for a second, because I want to make sure that we're recording.
Oh, I can see it.
Oh yeah, we're good. All right. Don't want a repeat of episode 11. It was at 12.
So some technical difficulties. So anyway, if you don't know what we're talking about yet, USC's main defense for...
We already said that.
Oh shit, that's right, yeah. What was my point? The point I was trying to make. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, so look, LA's cool, right? LA is probably, it's definitely one of the greatest cities in the country, right?
Yeah, I'd say it's top 5.
It's beautiful, but there's, I would say there's more beautiful destinations, more beautiful places to live, and there's a lot to do. However, they're using it as like a shot at small towns like Norman, which obviously, yes, Los Angeles in terms of like things to do on your average Saturday.
There's more.
There's more to do. But that's not the point.
No.
And that should not be a valid explanation as to why your spring game did such shitty numbers, right? Because it just shows that it's not important. Because we came from Dallas, okay?
Yeah.
And if you're talking about
there's
things to do.
Plenty to do on a Saturday.
Dallas is comparable to LA, I would almost say.
Yeah,
I live in Arlington, so I'm wedged between Fort Worth and Dallas, 2 places that have pretty good nightlifes, clubs,
good bars, good food.
hotel pool parties, drugs, good food, people walking small dogs.
Jasper.
What else? Very attractive women all over the place, I must say. I love coming to Dallas for the women. But yeah, I mean, it's comparable to LA, and we drove 3 hours to Norman, Oklahoma to watch the spring game because we prioritize football. Let's switch places, right? Let's say Norman looks just like Los Angeles, right? And Los Angeles looks just like Norman. You'd probably get similar numbers, right?
Really, it would just be there's just more to do after the game, right? You go to the game, and then it's like, oh, well, now we're going to go to the beach.
Right, and so you can do both.
The ranch, that was good.
But even if OU played in Los Angeles and we were in Los Angeles, you go to the game.
Yeah,
right, exactly. So I mean, USC fans, if it's still your defense, help me out here. What were you doing that was so amazing at 3 p.m. on a Saturday where you couldn't make it out to a football?
Probably smoking reefer.
Yeah, probably smoking weed.
The marijuana.
The devil's lettuce. That purple haze.
Fucking degens.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't really know what you guys are claiming as like these amazing things that you can do in Los Angeles. Jasper's trying to get up on the couch.
You can come up.
Come on. Special guest, part 2. Recurring guest. Hi, buddy. But, yeah, dude. Fuck Los Angeles. Fuck Los Angeles. Stop acting like you're so much better than everybody else, okay? Your city, it's cool. It's got a big name. It's got Hollywood. But you're not...
Hollywood shite.
Yeah. Unless you're one of the famous people there, you're not any better than anyone else in the country, okay? You're not a celebrity just because you live in Los Angeles. Let's get that straight, okay? You don't have anything better to do than go to a football game, so stop acting like it. You're not any better. Stop being pompous. I hate you, okay?
All right, moving on.
Sooners draft results. So
do we know
this is interesting. I thought at this point, so we're recording again. Today is
Friday, 6:51.
Friday, 6:51. So
Central Time.
The second and third round hasn't begun yet. Round 1, no Sooners went, which I'm not surprised, right? Because Perrion, extremely good. Even with the Senior Bowl performance he had, though, I still feel like he didn't kind of have the stock marketability. There's just a lot of teams that figure, hey, we can let him fall to this and still get him, right? So it's the same logic with everybody else too. But I know this is kind of awkward since we just got done shitting on USC and they had a guy go first round, like first receiver picked in the draft, which is bullshit, by the way. The fact that who drafted him? Who took Drake? Oh, the Falcons. The Falcons, who I'd say needed a receiver least of any position, draft Drake London from USC, and he's not even the best wide receiver in the class, and let Garrett Wilson fall to the Jets. So, anyway, we have not had anyone drafted yet, but what I believe will happen is Perrion's going to go somewhere around the middle of the second round, and Nick Benito will go early round 3. So I think they're both going to be gone today. Yeah. So
I mean, we didn't have the same kind of draft class that we'd had kind of the past few years, though.
No, yeah,
because we had pretty massive ones with like big top tier talent coming out.
Yeah, I mean, though, like historically, we draft just as good as any other school in the country. I mean, we have more first overall draft picks than any other school. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's just like you'd like to see one of them get in on that first round signing bonus and just to have that kind of accolade. But it's like it doesn't matter. They can still have great pro careers, and it's all like most of it's marketability too. Like you never know who's better than who. A lot of it's just who gets on the hype train early enough. But the draft was kind of interesting yesterday. I think there was some really strange choices made. A lot of receivers taken way earlier than I thought they would be. A lot of O-line action. A lot of O-linemen. I think majority O-line in the first round, actually.
Yeah, but that makes... I never bat my eye when I see linemen taken on either side of the ball early. Because I think that's... be real, that's the building block of your team. You can have all the skill players you want, but if your line sucks, then you're gonna get pushed around by better teams. So I get building, like, especially if you're a team that already has like some key skill players, a key quarterback, key wide receiver. I can understand wanting to, if you have a quarterback that you drafted the year before, you got to protect your quarterback. So
it was
wideouts I don't get quite as much.
It was strange though. Not a single running back taken in the first round, which I liked.
People have learned their lessons.
Yeah, people have learned their lessons with running backs.
You
don't draft them too early, and you don't overpay them.
We have, as Cowboys fans, have learned that lesson. I called that, by the way, when that deal came out. I was like, you don't pay that much for a running back. But we did, and now we're stuck with it.
But the weirdest thing to happen with wideouts, though, with wide receivers, so the Titans traded AJ Brown. They traded up. They just traded AJ Brown to trade up and get an earlier pick, and then draft Treylon Burks from Arkansas. But it was so funny because we were sitting there watching, and they trade him to the Eagles, get their pick, draft Treylon Burks, and then it does a little pro comparison thing, and their comparison was AJ Brown. And I was just like, okay, well, that's weird. But it makes sense why the
contract, though, probably.
Cheaper. Yeah, I mean, because apparently the Eagles paid AJ Brown like $100 million, which is something that the Titans didn't want to do. So
that's
go
fair,
draft a guy just like him.
Yeah, why not?
And then Marquise Brown is now an Arizona Cardinal.
I saw a portion of that deal, but I didn't actually see what the actual trade was.
I don't have numbers, but
what did the Cardinals give up though? Who did they give up?
They gave their pick. So they gave. They basically. It's almost like they literally like
drafted Marquise Brown.
No, yeah, they basically like returned him. It was like a return. It was like a refund. But they gave him to the Cardinals in exchange for basically the same pick that they got him for in 2019.
That's gonna make.
And then it was Marquise Brown and someone else, or no, I think it was Marquise Brown and another pick. It might have been Marquise Brown in a second round.
Well, good pick for the Cardinals. That's going to make them pretty dangerous. I mean, I would say Marquise Brown is probably a step up from Christian Kirk.
Yeah, I mean, him and Kyler, man, they've got that.
Yeah.
They've got that juice. They might not have the sauce, but they'll have the juice.
Oh yeah.
Which, if you who know the difference between sauce and juice.
It's going to be the smallest team.
Yeah, no, that's what they were talking about on Pardon My Take. They were talking about like this is for the short guys. This team's for the short guys. But no, deadly wide receiver combo with him and D-Hop. So that should be interesting to see. But let me tell you who the winner of the draft was last night. I think the Eagles, and it pains me to say because I fucking can't stand the Eagles, but they drafted really well last night. Got a good trade. AJ Brown's going to be great. They obviously needed a receiver because Jalen Reagor and then got Jordan Davis from Georgia, and I can't remember who their other pick was. I think it was a solid O lineman. I don't even know. The list of O linemen drafted in the first round was just way too long. But it was a weird round one. It was a weird round one to say the least. But yeah, hopefully pretty soon here we see Perrion and Nick Benito get going. But I'm not sure in terms of who else will go. We might have a couple guys go undrafted free agent, but that's okay.
That's cool.
You can still
play.
So some success there. Moving on, NBA playoffs, round 2. We are almost completely done with round 1.
Yeah.
We're just waiting on. We're waiting to see if Memphis can close it out and beat Minnesota tonight. Our Mavs.
They won.
Our Mavs.
They won.
Advanced to game 6.
Without Luka for most of it too.
Without Luka for the first
3 games.
3 games. Yeah. So. They won last night by 2 points. It was kind of nerve-wracking, though, because Bojan Bogdanovic had literally just been draining everything he was taking when he wasn't being guarded by either Dorian Finney-Smith or Reggie Bullock. And I was like, okay, like 3.5 seconds left. Just the one thing we can't let him, up 2 points, the one thing we can't let him do is shoot a wide-open three-pointer. And sure enough, he runs out to the elbow. And they passed him the ball, and he's wide open. And luckily, he just missed and doinked it off the side of the rim. But Mavs moving on. We play Phoenix next.
It's gonna be a tough game.
I'm not scared. I mean, it's gonna be a tough series, but I'm not scared. Okay. But yeah, in the East. So for the teams we have moving on in the East, I think Miami's going to sweep Philly.
Sweep.
Okay. I think
Miami's
sweep
good.
Philly.
I like Miami. I'm a big Jimmy Buckets fan. Is he still hurt though? Because I know he was hurt.
He was hurt. I believe he will be back for this series. Okay. Kyle Lowry will not be back.
Okay. It's fine. They have Hero.
But great 3-point shooting. Bam Adebayo. Bam. I always get
Bam Adebayo.
Bam Adebayo. Really good defensive big man.
Surprised you're going against your boy Harden though. Are you no longer?
Oh, dude, I've been off the Harden trade for so. I think he's one of the most unlikable players in the NBA now. So ever since he changed his hair, there's just something about his air, like his aura, that's just, I don't like him anymore. I miss year 1 and 2 Rockets James Harden. That was prime James Harden. That was like best player in the league, James Harden. What do you got going on over there? You got like an Alexa?
Alexa,
shut the
fuck up.
Cool. There we go. We do it casual around here. We don't have a super professional setup yet. Maybe someday.
That's my alarm to set the trash out.
Gotcha. Nice. We'll do that after. We'll make sure you get that done after.
I don't know why it's going off. It doesn't come on Friday. They don't come on Fridays.
Oh, interesting.
So.
But yeah, and then also in the East, I think Boston, Milwaukee will go to a Game 7. I think this is going to be the most competitive series that we see in this entire tournament. Very excited to see those two teams go head to head.
Yeah, Boston looked good. Very good against Brooklyn.
I'd say great against Brooklyn, considering they swept them.
They look very good. I don't like to be too, I don't want to give them too much credit.
Yeah.
Milwaukee though Milwaukee's like Giannis is a force in the playoffs. He's an absolute force.
Yeah, and he was one of the hardest players to score against.
Yeah, I feel like the Celtics have a really good team. Like they're a great team basketball team.
But Milwaukee, I would say, is equally.
You think
as
so?
Much.
It's like a team basketball team.
I mean, yeah. No, they have, and they've got some vets, dude. They got Giannis, PJ Tucker, Drew Holiday, who's obviously previous did he win Defensive Player of the Year last year? I think he did, right? But anyway, Drew Holiday, defending Defensive Player of the Year. Well, not defending because someone else just won it, but he won it last year. I wonder if Jason Tatum's going to have anything for him. That's going to be an interesting matchup to see. Chris Middleton. So they got a bunch of really good scorers, vets, great defense. But Boston's been really hot, and that's what a lot of basketball is just being hot at the right time.
Yeah.
Which is good news for the Mavs because we are spicy right now.
We're flaming
hot. The flaming hot Mavs. Which brings me to the West. If the Mavs can continue to shoot the three like they did this series, I think we have a legitimate shot to beat Phoenix. I don't know how many games it's going to take, but we have a legitimate shot to beat Phoenix. Because even though we're a smaller team, we've been rebounding really well. Our defense is tenacious, and we've been shooting the three ball really good. And Jalen Brunson, man, dude's a star. Everybody's talking about Luka needs a second. No. Luka has a second star.
Jalen Brunson,
and his name is Jalen Brunson. Dude is a star.
Yeah, he's very good. And we still Hardaway's not back yet, is he?
No, Hardaway's not back.
Is he going to be back?
I don't know. I don't think so. But I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie's good. Can shoot. Dorian Finney-Smith can shoot. Maxi Kleba has been shooting really well.
Well, because the last game they were just leaving him wide open. Yeah. And he had a few where he just was like they weren't going to guard him up, around the line, so that he just all right, final. Yeah, no, and then someone that surprised me. Now I used to hate on him because of how much we were paying him. Dwight Powell is worth every single penny that the Mavs are paying him right now. Yeah, he comes to he comes to Ascension all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you've seen him? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He's cool.
No,
it's hard to miss.
I need to see him in person so I can thank him for being awesome.
I live just right down the street from the Mavs training center.
Yeah.
So
but no, I'm
basically a Dallas Maverick.
Pretty much.
I basically play for the team.
Right.
I'm starting. I actually need to go so that I can get ready for our series.
You're their hype man. You're starting hype man. But no, we have a really good defense that's anchored by him, Reggie Bullock, and Dorian Finney-Smith. It's all going to be a matter of how good do the Suns play? Because I think we're going to be hot. I think we're going to come out playing very similar to the way we played this series, but it's all going to be about how the Suns play, which, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
It also, I think one thing that Luka's gotten better at is he doesn't force as many bad shots. He's gotten a lot better at getting the team involved. Yeah. And so you especially last night,
he was wet. Yesterday.
I saw
he was
like a lot of series where you had 4 or 5 passes to like swing around to find the open man.
Yeah,
and that's good. That's refreshing to see. It's not just him trying to do everything himself.
Yeah, no, it's good, and that's the difference maker. That's why we advanced this year.
Yeah.
And then Golden State, I think they'll sweep either one of these teams, Minnesota or Memphis.
Golden State's playing very good.
Yeah,
Poole is has just shown out to be like an absolute star in the making.
Yeah, and
Steph's playing as good as he played.
Yeah, like they have it all going on right now. My thing with Memphis is they're very one-dimensional scoring. Like if Ja's not doing it, it's not getting done. At least with Minnesota, you've got Anthony Edwards, you've got D'Angelo Russell, you've got Cat, so you've got a few different guys that can score the basketball. But I think the Warriors are just going to be too much for any of them. So I think there's a good chance that they sweep them.
Yeah.
So that's it for new business. Moving on. Fan question of the week. We're going to have one every week.
Fan question of the week.
That's why it's called Fan Question of the Week. This week's was which side of the ball played better in the spring game. So let's see what we got here. So 86% said defense and 14% said offense. So obviously, based on what we've said, I would have to agree with the majority.
Yeah.
The defense.
And maybe they didn't necessarily play better. It's just from our point of view, what we're used to seeing. It was the defense was so much better.
Final score of 21-17, and that is without our best defensive unit playing altogether on the field. So it's like
that's true.
If we held a team to 17 or 21 points every single game, we'd win every single game. Assuming our offense looks like what we think it's going to look like.
Doesn't only score 17 or 21 points.
But again, an offense that's like the best unit out there on the field. So
that's true.
It was just like secondary looked good. We were tackling really well on both sides. It wasn't just like red-white team looks really good. No, like both teams.
Secondary was my favorite because for the most part, 96% of the plays, our secondary was draped on the wide receivers.
Yeah, and it was both sides too. So it wasn't just like only the unit that Jay Valai's out there coaching is doing. So it wasn't even like a scheme. Like it was literally just them playing harder.
Not even playing harder. They're not out of position.
Yeah, they're not
nearly as much. There were a couple blown plays, but for the most part,
same with the linebackers, bro. They were fucking on the ball,
pounding them hard from behind.
And defensive line edge got quite a few sacks. I think Marcus Stripling himself had 2. So man, defense shut out. Hopefully, and like. It's not a bad thing, man. No. I'm ready for that change. I'm ready to have a better defense than an offense.
Yeah, let's have some games where it's
or maybe like even, like 50-50. Give me 50-50. 50-50 is good. It's like it's balance. It's yin and yang. But so we agree with you, defense lovers.
I love the D personally.
I'm a big fan of the D.
Yeah.
The big D too.
Big strong D.
Big D. That's funny. Anyway.
Penis joke.
Moving on to, this is the main segment, but it's going to be kind of short, I think. But like I said, we were going to do some changes, see if we had any changes to our predictions that we made a few episodes ago. We made our predictions for the regular season in terms of how we thought it was going to go. So I'll let you start first. Do you have any changes that you'd like to make to your predictions?
Not anything that's massive. I think everything's going to go basically the same way. I don't think I gave Kansas State enough of a threat credit last time. I'm gonna go ahead and give Kansas State a few more props. I think that will be a much tougher game than I maybe led on to. That's been a scare game. I was the only person who called the year that they beat us when we had Jalen Hurts, and it was just completely out of the blue. I was like, I'm worried about Kansas State. I was saying it the whole week before. We got our asses kicked.
Interesting. See,
it happens.
I am kind of the opposite with that game.
Oh, you're less worried now?
I mean, I think
it's going to be a tough, grinded out game.
I had Kansas State as a very tough game for us, but all of my concern was on the defensive side. But now that I've seen that we can hold our own in coverage, and then at the same time negate the run. Since they're going to run 85% of the time. But the fact that our linebackers and our D-line is playing so good, and our secondaries, ball hawking, like swarming to the ball, I think this is going to be less competitive than I thought, but still a tough game.
My concerns were on the offensive side for us. And that was I'm not going to say reaffirmed, but it made me have to go back and reevaluate that, okay, yeah, maybe, I'm not going to say our offense is going to struggle. I'm just saying it's going to be more of a struggle than I thought previously.
Yeah. But I also have similar thoughts with Iowa State, because we're going to be able to, we've shown that we can defend the pass. So, Iowa State, Texas, I think that changes the dynamic of both of those games. Maybe TCU as well, since they're probably going to have Duggan coming back.
Yeah.
And those are offenses that traditionally throw all over us every single year. But that's going to change. And then Baylor, this is interesting. Remember when I said Gary Bohannon will not start for the Baylor Bears this year? Yeah, he transferred.
No,
he's gone. Yeah, Blake Shapen is going to be the starter. That's probably why he transferred. He got beat out by that guy. But that was pretty obvious to me, because Blake Shapen looked like he could really throw the ball in that Big 12 championship and in the bowl game. So, yeah, I guess just as a generality, is that a word?
Generalization?
As a generalization, I guess I would just say maybe lower scoring.
Yeah,
than I would have initially predicted on both sides. Like, not just us, but our wins might look more like 24-14 or 21-7 or stuff like that. Which doesn't, to me, necessarily make them any less exciting.
No. Just a different type of exciting.
Yeah, you want to win, and you're going to see the defense make the majority of the plays, which I think will be a lot of fun.
No.
But yeah, man, we're gonna take what has been other teams' bread and butter against us every single year under Lincoln Riley, and we're just going to wipe it off the table, because they're not going to be able to take advantage of our secondary anymore. We're getting ready to have an SEC-style defense, so. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's going to take the teams a while, I think, to get used to us playing this style of ball. Which I think is good. It benefits us because the Big 12 already, you saw it shift towards more defensive football. I think that was a big thing. Even last year and the year before, teams started playing more defensively. Because do you remember the year that we ended the season in the three-way tie against Tech and Oklahoma State, and then we ended up going. This was before, I think, in the time period where we didn't actually play a Big 12 championship game, and so it was just whoever finished on top won. But it was a three-way tie between us, Oklahoma State, and Tech, and then we ended up going to the playoffs, where I think we got our asses beat.
Was that? Maybe
I want to say was it
2015?
I want to say Landry Jones was our quarterback.
Oh, then I have no idea, because the last time I remember us squeaking into a playoff was 2015 when it was us, Clemson, and then Michigan State and Alabama, and we got our butt beat by Clemson.
Let me see. OU, I don't even know what the fuck to search for. OU.
I don't either. But what was the point you were getting at?
Anyway, the point I was trying to make was that I don't know what the fuck I just searched.
OU season. Yeah, that's gonna narrow it down there.
I'm feeling lucky. my point is, that was during that period where Big 12 games were notoriously all just massive shootouts. Every single game was 56 to 54, and it just came down to whoever had the ball last. You've seen kind of a downward trend from there to now we're at a point where there's quite a few teams in the Big 12 that play decent defense.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been.
There's a few teams that play elite defense.
Mm-hmm.
Last year with Baylor
had an elite defense, like a top 5 defense,
and so hopefully we can get to the point to where we have an elite defense.
Yeah, that's something that I think is going to be an adjustment for them, but I think the tempo as well. I think you're going to start to see, because usually we're the team that comes out and we play like shit in the first half of the first quarter, and we slowly have to kind of level out and get to the point where it's okay, we can cruise to a win now. I think that's what other teams are going to start have happening to them, is they're going to be like, oh, this doesn't look how do we game plan for this when we haven't seen this before? And I think that's going to be a huge difference maker in some really key games. So,
well, I think having a demoralizing defense can make what we're used to having happen to where maybe we jump out to a bit of a lead and then we kind of have to fight to hold on to it.
Yeah.
I feel like now we're going to be able to wear down opponents. When your defense is suffocating,
force them to make the plays. Usually we're the ones that have to make the crazy surges. I don't make them have to do that.
Well, and I don't like the whole, because the idea is the old school thought, you run the ball and it wears down the defense. Well, you can do the same thing on the opposite side of the ball.
Yeah.
If your defense is just not letting anything through, eventually your wide receivers are going to stop trying. Your running back's going to get tired of running into a brick wall. Your offensive linemen are going to get tired of getting pushed around. Your quarterback's going to get tired of getting hit. And the offense will just start to give up. They'll just go into a shell and they'll give up.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, hopefully that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I 100% feel like there could be a playoff picture painted somewhere down the line here very soon. And this year. I
hope so.
I think there's going to be a point in the season where everybody starts talking this could be a team. So
yeah.
Get ready for it, Sooner Nation.
Yes, sir.
But other than that, I ain't got shit else.
No.
Cool. Well, we'll see y'all next time.
Boomer
Sooner.